Rams, and welcome to the Monday Night Sports Show. I'm Jessica Mendoza.
And I'm Bryan Buck. This weekend was action-packed with basketball, football, volleyball, and hockey. Let's dive right into it. Last week was the start of the season for the CSU men's basketball squad under first-year head coach Niko Medved. They followed up their blowout win streak on Saturday with another dominant game against the Arkansas Pine Bluff Golden Lions. The Lions are led by senior guard Martavius McKnight, and with 41 points, McKnight put on a show. But the Rams defense shut down the rest of the Lions roster with no other players in double digits. The Rams held the Lions to 38% shooting and 26% from three-point range. On the other hand, CSU distributed the scoring amongst everyone, with 6 players, including all 5 starters, in double digits. Leading the Rams was big man Niko Medved, who tallied 18 points en route to his second double-double in as many games this season. CSU shot the ball well from all over, with 12 made threes on just 23 attempts that broke down the Lions' zone defense, and senior J.D. Page returned from suspension, putting up 14 points and 6 assists. The final score for Moby was Rams 92, Lions 67. The Rams will defend their perfect record Wednesday evening in Moby Arena against Montana State.
Aside from CSU basketball taking a huge win, the story was only the opposite for the football team Saturday night in Reno, Nevada, when the CSU Rams football team took quite a beating at McKay Stadium against the Nevada Wolfpack. The Rams had little momentum in the beginning of the game after their opening drive came to an end when Colin Hill threw a gut-wrenching interception where no CSU receivers could be found. Only good luck for the Rams in the first quarter was when cornerback VJ Banks picked off Nevada quarterback Ty Ganji for Banks' third interception of the season late in the first quarter. But 6 penalties, which gave up 51 yards just in the first quarter, hurt this team very bad. Nevada would open up the game only leading by 7, but would then lead at halftime 28-0. Rams offense just couldn't convert on third down, and their defense couldn't do enough to stop Ganji and his receivers. Colin Hill even got sacked 3 times just in the first half. The Rams never passed the 50-yard line until more than halfway through the third quarter, where Nevada would go on to score 21 more unanswered points, giving them a 49-0 lead going into the fourth. Freshman safety Quinn Brennan made his way to Ganji, forcing a fumble, which put the Rams in position to score. Colin Hill and Preston Williams connect for an 8-yard touchdown pass to put some points on the board. This made Colin Hill's second start of the season. He finished completing 23 of 40 passes for 186 yards. The Rams defense was able to keep the Wolfpack out of the red zone in the fourth quarter, but their offense couldn't finish the game with anything more than a 32-yard field goal by Bryan to bring the final to 49-10. With 2 games left on CSU's schedule, they are now 3-7 on the season and are ineligible for a bowl game for the year.
Despite the football team being unsuccessful on the road, it was a long week for the Ram volleyball team, who took their 9-match winning streak on the road against 2 of the top teams in the conference last week. On Thursday, the Rams were in Logan, Utah to take on the Utah State Aggies. Defense was key for the Rams as they swept the Aggies behind 12 team blocks. The Rams' defensive play was not mirrored on the offensive side when they committed 23 attacking errors, but freshman Sasha Colombo led the Rams with 6 blocks and 2 assists. She also tallied 7 kills. 2 days later, the Rams traveled to Boise and the home of the Broncos. The Rams were tested by a Boise State defense that put up 13 blocks in 4 sets. The Broncos keyed in on CSU kill leader Brianna Runnels, but 2017 Mountain West Player of the Year Katie Oleksak distributed the ball well, garnishing a CSU school record with 61 assists, 19 of which went to Kirsty Hillier and 16 more to Jessica Jackson. The Rams won in 4 sets, extending their winning streak to 11 and have a chance to clinch a Mountain West championship at home on Thursday against UNLV.
Well, that was a really impressive weekend for the volleyball team. They definitely really killed it out there, and I think we've been seeing them improve each week of the season so far. Yeah,
they were a young team to start the year. We saw some of those mistakes early on, but that 11-game winning streak really tells you how talented this volleyball team is, how well coached they've been to improve over the course of the season, and how much they're just firing on all cylinders right now. And Kirsty Hillier is a key example of that. She just won another Mountain West Player of the Week award this week for offense. That marks her 3rd Player of the Week award in 4 weeks. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, super impressive. And as you touched on before with Katie Oleksak, As a volleyball player myself, I can't express enough how important it is to have a good setter. And she's amazing. She's really great for this team. We talked about it last week. She's just so good, and it's really nice to have her on the court.
Yeah, there's a reason she won Mountain West Player of the Year last year. I wouldn't be surprised to see her get the award again this year. Yeah. This team is just playing at the right pace right now. There's a reason they're up to be conference champions and probably get an NCAA berth this year. So we're all very excited about what they have in store this year and some great volleyball left to be played for the rest of the season. Yeah, the end of the season is going to be really exciting for this Rams team. But moving on from volleyball, the hockey team also had a great weekend, Brian. When the men's hockey team the men's hockey team held an orange out against Utah on Saturday. The action began very quickly when forward Ben Joseph scored the first goal for the Rams, only 44 seconds into the game. And with just a little more than 10 minutes remaining in the first period, CSU got a 2-point advantage after Max Legier puts another puck in the back of the net for the Rams. CSU let Utah's David Barnes score a goal on a power play to open up the second period, but freshman defender Sam Cote was quick to respond. The second period also saw the back of the net from the stick of Grayson North and Max Legier again, where they led the Rams 5-2 going into the third period. Christopher Nitchin skated to get the final goal of the night, 13 minutes into the third period. The final score from Epic Ice Arena was 6-3, and the win now puts the hockey team at 6 wins and 7 losses for the season. Well, Ram fans, that is all we have for you right now, but when we return, we'll have Castro's Cut, the Triple J Pick'em Challenge, and a special Niko Medved interview are all coming up.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
How's it going, Rams? Welcome to Castro's Cut. I am Litos Castro, here to give you the rundown of what's to come up in CSU Sports this week. We've got a special Castro's Cut for you tonight, because since we won't be here next week, I'm going to give you the update of what's coming up next week as well. So we're going to have a fun segment today. Without further ado, let's get rolling right into it. First, we're starting off with your hockey squad. Hockey, they've got a 3-day series coming up this weekend. They're hitting the road. First, on Thursday, they're heading out to face Central Oklahoma at 8 in the evening for you. And then on Friday and Saturday, they're going to have a 2-game series against Oklahoma University. First Friday's game going to be at 7, and then Saturday's game at 4 in the afternoon for you. Next, we're going to keep it rolling with your volleyball squad. They got 2 games coming up this week. First, on Thursday night, they're going to be taking on UNLV right at Moby Arena at 7 in the evening. Then on Saturday, they're going to be facing New Mexico Lobos. That game's also starting at 7 in the evening for you. That Saturday game's going to be their last game of the regular season, so don't be afraid to show your volleyball team some love as the season's coming to a close. Next, we're taking a look at your football team. They've got 2 games, one this week, one next week. First off, they're facing off against Utah State right here at Canvas Stadium. They're back home. That game's going to be starting up at noon. It's going to be a fun one to start off the break. And then next week on Thanksgiving Day, Rams heading out to Colorado Springs to take on Air Force. That game starts at 1:30 in the afternoon, so don't be afraid to break out the early Thanksgiving dinner while you're watching the Rams take on Air Force for you. Next, we're taking a look at the women's basketball squad. They've got 1 game this week. That game's going to be on Wednesday when they head to Boulder to face their rivals of CU. That game's starting up at 7 in the evening for you. And then next week, on Tuesday, they're going to be back home facing off against UNC. That game also starting up at 7 in the evening for you. Next, we finish up with the men's basketball squad. Men's team also has 1 game this week on Wednesday where they're going to be taking on Montana State in Moby Arena. Game at 7 in the evening, and they're going to be right here at home for you. Then, next week, they're going to have a big week coming up. they head out to Florida for the Gulf Coast Showcase. 3-day series for them, starting up on the 19th and finishing up on the 21st. They're going to face off against 3 different teams there. Still waiting to hear who those teams will be. So we're going to bring you all the updates when we come back from the fall break. So don't worry about missing out on anything. We got you covered. All right, Rams, that's all the sports we have coming up. So you know what time it is. It's time for your play of the week. Let's roll it. Here we have the man himself, Logan Ryan, being the brick wall that he is, and it's beautiful plays like this SWAT coming down that helped the Rams get 2-0 wins this week. Well done from the basketball team. We can only hope that we see beautiful plays like that coming up in the future. All right, Rams, that's all I got for Castro's Cut for you. But don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we have the Triple J Pick and Challenge coming up next.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pigs.
Hello, Ram fans, and welcome back. I'm now joined by Thursday sports anchor Jared Stratton and guest picker Cory Odom for KCSU to fill in for Jason Ortiz in this week's Triple J Pick'em Challenge. To begin, here's how we did last week. So last week, I went 3 for 5, Jared went 4 for 5, and Jason, man, you went 2 for 5.
No surprise that I'm still in first place, in my opinion. But how do you feel about representing Jason?
Hold on. When I go perfect this week, does that count for Jason's points, or do I have my own separate scoreboard going up right now?
You count for Jason, actually, this week.
Well, I will do my best.
He needs it. If you're going to go perfect, he needs it.
I will do my best to make him look good.
He needs a 5 for 5.
Yeah, well, he's going to get it.
We'll see how well you do this week, Cory. All right, well, with this new week ahead of us, let's start picking this week's games. So to begin, we have number 3 ranked Notre Dame traveling to take on number 13 ranked Syracuse.
Yeah, I just don't see any way that Notre Dame loses this. They're number 3 in the nation for a reason. And they came off of a very dominant win over Florida State last Saturday with their 42-13 victory. And the closest game that they've had all season was a victory of 5 points. So they've never even really been tested that hard, and I just don't see Syracuse doing anything different.
Yeah, I think Syracuse is going to be slaughtered. It's going to be a terrible game for Syracuse.
Slaughtered?
They're letting up over 430 yards per game.
Yeah.
And Notre Dame is known for their offense right now, and they're going to dominate. I don't see Syracuse doing anything this game.
Yeah, I agree with all the same points. You guys have Ian Book's on track to come back. I haven't heard the news quite yet, but I mean, he's leading the nation with a 74.5 completion percentage. So really good quarterback. Glad to be having it back this weekend.
For sure.
And next we have Utah State coming to Campus Stadium to take on CSU.
I don't even want to talk about this one, honestly. I really don't. I don't want to talk about this one. I'm really upset with CSU's football team right now. Really seems like I want to believe knowing that these players aren't giving up, but they go out there and they make it look like they're giving up. These last couple of weeks, man, like after they lost to Wyoming, it kind of just looks to me like no matter who they're playing out there, they're not going to get a win. So I really had to pick against CSU this week.
Yeah, you bring me on here, and I want to be the CSU guy, but I'm not. I'm going to go for Utah State as well. They've scored over 50 points in their last 3 games, and I have not seen anything from CSU's side that makes me believe that they will be holding Utah State's offense down at all. They really put Hawaii away earlier in the season, and we saw kind of how CSU handled Hawaii. And Nevada played a good game against us. Nevada kind of showed a lot of our weaknesses if they were unknown beforehand.
Yeah.
And I just think that Utah is really going to capitalize on what they have seen over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, and Nevada, like you said, it was not a good game for CSU. But then again, Nevada's not even the top scoring in the nation. Utah State is, and that's a little scary for CSU right now. This is gonna be worse than the Notre Dame game. It's gonna be an onslaught. Utah State takes it.
Okay, so Slaughter's right here and Onslaught's right here.
It might be a little more above. I think they're gonna win by maybe 30.
Yeah, we knew coming into the season this one was gonna be rough without seeing what CSU was gonna do. So I definitely think it's gonna be rough.
Yeah.
Agreed. But moving on to college basketball, we have number 18 ranked Michigan taking on number 8 ranked Villanova. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm actually going to take Michigan on this one. Michigan has been a little bit an underdog for this matchup, but I can speak for a lot of Michigan fans right now. They are mad at Villanova. Villanova took away their title last year, and they're coming in hot. They also have one of the best defenses out there right now. Out of all the shots going up against Michigan, 20% of them have been blocked. And that's a crazy statistic that I've heard. And also, they have their three-point percentage against them has been less than 25%. Their defense has been stellar.
Yo, I am so glad that Michigan has a good defense, but they cannot shoot the ball, I'm telling you. They only have one player that can shoot over 30%. That's bad. And also, we're going to talk about Villanova averaging 93 points per game. Michigan's 2-0, yeah, sure. Who have they beat?
Nobody.
Yeah, so I'm definitely going for Villanova here. Redshirt senior Phil Booth's he's seen it all. He's been on this team, so I think he's going to lead them to a victory for sure.
I'm really sad that you picked Michigan because I thought I was going to be the only one. I was like, this is my upset pick right here. I had this whole story about how an underdog team comes back from the brink from utter and complete defeat in the national championship. They have a full training montage over the offseason. They come back. They're playing a little rough against nobodies, but that's because they're so focused on Villanova. It's all they've been thinking about. And now this is their opportunity to get that payoff that they've been training all offseason for. This is it.
They got to start shooting better, first
Finally,
of all.
someone I agree with on this. Yes.
Well, here's the thing. If the game is low scoring, I think Michigan's got it. Their defense is good, and Villanova is known to put up a lot of points. So if it's a low scoring game, Michigan's got this. If their points start falling, Michigan's going to have a rough day, for sure.
Well, Villanova's shooting over 50% from the field. I don't think it's going to be a low-scoring game.
Well, 20% of them are going to get blocked.
We'll see. All right. Well, to continue on with basketball, we have CSU hosting Montana State on Wednesday.
Oh, that's me. I've been really excited with what I've been seeing of CSU men's basketball so far. They've been playing really well early, and the only kind of faulty area that they have is late when they're up big. So I'm thinking if it's a closer game, they won't have any reason to kind of put their foot off of the gas, and they'll just continue to be playing well. And I'm really excited to see what the 3 major freshmen of this year have to offer against better teams.
Yeah, definitely. And like you said, though, they've been changing this whole year, and also, they've been changing for this year. And Medved really has changed the culture for CSU.
Absolutely.
It's been a great year so far. They've been scoring almost 100 points, over 100 the first game, almost 100 the second. In all honesty, right now, I'm going to predict that they get up there again. I'm going to say they're going to get upwards, 95 and above. I think CSU is going to win this one easily again.
There you go.
Yeah, so this one's really easy so far. We're all agreeing. I just want to say that Montana State was held to 35 against Indiana recently. Yeah. So if CSU, I know Indiana's really good at basketball, but if CSU can keep up their defense, as they have recently, they've been playing really good defensive game. I think that they should definitely have this one. Also, I just want to mention that CSU, this basketball team, is very unselfish. And as Niko Medved said after their game last week, his teammates or his players will give up a good shot for a better shot. And that's really important to see that they're not being selfish out there.
Exactly. And to finish the challenge for this week, we thought we'd talk some Monday Night Football with the Giants and 49ers game going on right now. Before we give the live update pick, I'd like to see what everyone else thinks about this game.
All right, so I'm really happy we're finally talking about some NFL here. Unfortunately, this Monday night game, man, it's a 1-7 team versus a 2-7 team. It's not super pretty.
Two giants of their weight class. Come on.
Untouchable,
yeah, I would even go as far to say.
All right, well, I'm just going to say I really like Nick Mullins. I picked the 49ers. I like Nick Mullins. I like his story, and he had a really good NFL debut recently. I also want to touch on the other side. You know, Saquon Barkley, he's really good, but I think everyone's really counting on him to do it all. And he's great. He's a great running back. He's on my fantasy team, but I can't really defend on him for all of this game. And then Eli Manning, he's been sacked 31 times this year, thrown 6 interceptions. So I really think that DeForest Buckner's really come out and have a heyday with Eli Manning tonight.
All right, I'm going to tell you why you're wrong in 3 parts.
Okay.
Number one, they picked up a new right guard, Jamin Brown, off of the Rams after he got injured. His replacement ended up doing really well, was wavered over to the Giants. He is starting this game, which means I'm thinking that Eli will have the opportunity to step into a pass, which he has not had the opportunity to do all season. And
He's probably too scared to at this point.
He's seeing ghosts, I'll admit. But I firmly believe that Eli's still got it. And if he can step into a pass, I think that he's still a top, at least a top half quarterback. That's number one. Number two, Odell is motivated. When asked what he thinks about this season, he says that they're just going to win the next 8 games and finish 9-7. I agree with him. I've seen nothing why I would disagree with anything that he said. They've got all of the right stuff in the skill positions, and now they're picking up people on the O-line, and I think that's what they're going to need to do. And then talking about Nick Mullen, he had one game where he played well.
Yes.
One game does not a hero make.
You're right.
So I am skeptical that he's got what it takes after just one game.
Definitely, like you said, with that one game, though, that was against the Raiders.
True.
The Raiders. And I can't emphasize more that it was the Raiders.
The Raiders.
Exactly, yes.
They're a pretty good defense.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, the Raiders are great.
No, okay, no. We're going to shut that down real quick. But, like, say they have Saquon Barkley, and Saquon we trust. Saquon, they have all.
Saquon we trust.
Exactly. We have a lot of belief in Saquon over there in New York. They also still have Odell Beckham. Like you said, he wants to win all the next 8 games. I think that's going to happen.
And I like OBJ.
You think it's going to happen?
I like OBJ. I really do. I think he's a great player, but I feel bad for him. I feel bad for him that he has to play with Eli Manning, honestly.
You feel bad for him after that payday he just made?
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
I feel bad for the multimillionaire.
Okay. And for the record, their backup quarterback for the Giants did just get arrested for a traffic violation. So I don't think he's going to be playing for soon. So
it's the most Giants thing I've ever heard.
One more thing I have to say about OBJ.
All right.
It's coming around his birthday here, and he has really good birthday magic on those games. So we'll see if he lives up to that, and if that.
There it is. And for the live update, we have the Giants right now. They're in the red zone. They have 7 points. The 49ers have 10. So you can say that right now.
This game is far from over.
The Giants are in the red zone. They do have Saquon Barkley. They do have OBJ. New right guard, as you said.
Still a lot of game to play, guys.
That means at least a touchdown.
All right. Well, Ram fans, that's all we have for you this week for the Triple J Pick'em Challenge. But don't go anywhere, because when we return, we will bring you a sit-down interview with Niko Medved.
You are listening to 90.5 KCSU Fort Collins with DJ Meanbeat,
DJ Nightshade, DJ Wildcard. Music to me is one of the best creative outlets that I can think of. An escape from the real world.
Music to me is an expression of love.
To go from like folk to hip hop to like classic rock, 1960s bossa nova. With music, there's like no boundaries.
I work here because I love music, and you do too.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back from the break, Rams. Last week, I got to sit down with head coach Niko Medved to surprise him with an old photo.
First game in, went pretty well. Got the exhibition under you guys. As the season's getting started, what's been kind of the reaction from the fan base, the excitement level?
Well, I think it's good. I mean, there's always excitement going into a season, right? It's everything's new, it's fresh. Obviously, you know, we're a new staff and kind of a new look, and so yeah, there's definitely an excitement there, and I still feel that, and you know, hopefully it's in the infant stages, and I think we've got a lot of work to do to continue to build the excitement here around our program. But so far, so good.
Mm-hmm. With you coming back to CSU, being an assistant here for a few years, you talked a lot when you were first hired about how you were really excited to come back to CSU. You remember the Orange Out games and all the madness in Moby. Has that same level of excitement gotten there, or you think there's still some to go?
Oh, there's still, I mean, we've got a long, you know what I mean, a lot of work to do. And I think it's just, day by day, one by one, we've got to continue to build the momentum with how we play on the court and how we continue to connect with the community and the students here. And I think hopefully you'll see that momentum grow and grow. But yeah, we've got a road ahead of us to get it to the point where we know it can get to and where we want it to get to.
Awesome. I was digging through the archives and I found this old picture of you and Coach Tim Miles back in, I think that was 2007.
Yeah.
Initial reaction to the picture?
Man, I've got some gray hairs now. Yeah, I can definitely tell that. So does Tim, for that matter. So, man, it seems like it was as it was yesterday there. But yeah, that's neat. I'm better looking than he is, though. Yeah. That's funny, yeah.
Do you still have a relationship with Coach?
Yeah, in fact, I talked to him yesterday. I talked to him yesterday before the game, and absolutely. And so, coaching's a tight knit community, and obviously, especially when you work with somebody, and he played a big part in me continuing to grow as as an assistant and having an opportunity to become a head coach. And obviously, he was the one who brought me here, so I'm indebted to him for that. And so, yeah, absolutely, we've got a great relationship and stay in constant communication.
Awesome. You came back to CSU and you were really excited about coming back. What about your years under Coach Miles and here as an assistant made you so excited to come back?
Well, I've said it before. I think that I've seen this program at its worst. Our first year here, we went 0-16 in the Mountain West, and second year we were 4-12. We won 7 games and 9 games total, and then at the end, our last 2 years, one with him, Larry, we ended up going to the NCAA tournament, and we had huge crowds, and there was a ton of momentum and energy behind the program, and so I think that gives a unique perspective. But I've seen what it can be, and that you can do it here, and you can do it in a way that fits who I am as a coach, with the kind of people and the community behind you. And so that really excites me. It's such a great place to be, and it's a true college town, college experience. And again, I think just the perspective I've had of seeing what I know this program can become, and wanting to get back to that is really exciting.
You mentioned how much you love the community, you love the town, how you're excited to get back here. Is there anything about Fort Collins or the university in general that makes you love it here so much?
I don't know if there's one thing you can put your finger on, but there's just a great vibe here. I think the sun's out in Colorado. People are generally in a good mood. There's a lot of stuff to do. It's just such a neat place to live, and people are active. The community, like Colorado State, is such a huge part of the fabric of Fort Collins, so that the university plays such a huge role in everything that goes on here, and I think that that's really neat, and you love it. The vibe in Moby Arena is terrific, and obviously Fort Collins and northern Colorado in general just continues to grow, and so what's not to like?
Having talked to fans and stuff, is that something that they're particularly excited about, how much you love the university and the town?
I don't know. I think so. I think that, in anything you do, you've got to have enthusiasm. You got to be all in. There's no way. And I think you really can't fake it when it's genuine. If you genuinely love and you care about something, just like our players, and you got to be truly invested in something in order to make it happen. And so I think it's genuine. It's still myself and our family. We really do love it here, and so excited to come back. And I think our staff feels the same way, and continue to permeate that throughout your team and the recruits and people that you bring here, and that's when you can really do something.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Coach.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, it's really great to hear that from the man himself, Niko Medved. He really believes in this program. And it's funny to hear him talk about his gray hairs. He must have gotten those at Furman or something, because so far here at CSU, I feel like it's been pretty easy sailing for him.
It has. We've seen a lot recently coming out about just how much the players are really buying into the program, how excited they are about just the way Coach Medved embraces them, the entire coaching staff, really. And I think there's not anybody on this campus, on the basketball program, fans of CSU, that are disappointed by what's going on with this basketball team right now. Everybody has a reason to be excited.
Absolutely, and as he said, so far so good. So well, Ram fans, that is all we have for you this week. We will return in 2 weeks after Thanksgiving break with updates from CSU versus Air Force football game and all of the basketball action.
But be sure to follow us on Twitter at sports_CTV for updates throughout the week. Have a great week and be safe, Rams.